Next is Paul with new features
Apparently,
in
yes.
QDoc. Yes.
So hi, everyone. I'll walk you through a couple of things that have happened for QDoc. In particular, there are 5 things I'd like to mention. We can now generate documentation from header files, which is new. That's something that's been upstreamed by KDE. As you may have heard, about a week ago, they started a documentation porting sprint. So they're now moving away from Doxygen and to QDoc. And they needed, because of course they have their docs and headers, they didn't want to move everything into source files to make this happen. So they upstreamed a patch that allows QDoc to do this. So that's pretty cool. And we're really happy about having KDE as a customer for QDoc. They file bugs and they have patches and they comment on reviews, and we have a really good collaboration going with them. So that's cool. Something else that I think a lot of people will appreciate is that QDoc now generates QML values from C++ enums. There has been a lot of copy pasting in the past, which is of course annoying and can lead to typos, and the documentation is out of sync, etc., etc. So now you can add a new command to your QML property, and then QDoc takes care of this for you, which is good. If you have ugly implementation details you'd like to hide, such as a type is in the Qt private namespace, and we expose that because QDoc desugars everything, you now can say that this needs to be documented with auto, so you can do that. We have a new native type command, which replaces the old instantiates command. It's a better implementation than the last one. The old command delegates to the new command, so you don't really need to do anything. We've already done the string replacement thing for all the modules in Qt5.git, so you don't need to worry about that unless your product is outside of the scope of Qt5.git. At some point, we may remove the old command, but it should just work out of the box. And also, you can deprecate the future now with the deprecate command. So, of course, as we're now thinking of Qt 7 and something that's to come, a lot of you may remember the discussion that was at the contributor summit about this also. We have a way in documentation that isn't different from what you would do when you deprecate something now to deprecate something in the future. So you have a chance to give people a heads up for what's to come. Now, I'm not going to do as Jörg did and give you 16 slides. I'm going to stop sharing the presentation now. And then I want to show you that QDoc can actually do these things. It's not just me coming up with, a lot of, QDoc is so fantastic. So I prepared a tiny project which does the whole documentation in headers thing. So the only thing you need to do if you want to generate documentation from your header files is make sure that we have the file extensions for headers, and then you set documentation headers equals true or 1 or any non-false value in your QDoc file. And then we can take a look at a header that had some documentation. You'll see that we have documentation for a namespace. We have documentation for a class. All of this is in the header file. We have deprecated from a future version. I'm sorry about the ugly color scheme, but that's what I got from the terminal. We have an enumeration on the C++ side of things. We have some properties, and all of this is documented. We also have something that returns something from a container in this class. It's declared with auto, but as you'll see, QDoc is going to desugar the documentation for this thing, and actually it won't because I've messed up the project, but that's fine. So it should return, it should use a value type as the actual type, which is the underlying type instead of auto. And then we can build the docs. And then we can open a browser and look at this. So we have the namespace. It was documented in the header, as you saw, so this works. In the overview of classes, it says that since 6.8 and until 6.9, we have this color picker class. And then there's, the stuff that you'd expect from namespace documentation. In the class, we have an overview that, shows you the header and the since info, etc. Now says in QML is the color picker type. So this is the native type command that does that. The status is that this is until 6.9, and then we say this class is scheduled for deprecation in version 6.9. The phrasing is on purpose, and it is to allow us to hint to users, this is going to happen, this is our plan. Please give us feedback if you really, really, if you really disagree with this. Now is your chance to scream out loudly, and we still have a way to kind of revert if we get arguments that are strong enough to overturn such a decision. And then we have the enum, not surprising, we're still on the C++ side. And here is, because I got the demo backwards, it actually says auto and not and not the underlying type. I'll show you why in a bit. And then the QML type, which is what's interesting, I guess. Here we have the enumeration values. And to prove that this is not actually not actually something that I wrote by hand or copy pasted, let's take a look at the implementation file. So this is why the auto thing was there. I actually did override this with auto in an fn command. That's actually worth mentioning. If you generate documentation from header files and you need to use an fn command for something, such as this case, that fn command cannot go into the header. It has to go into the implementation file or a QDoc file. And that's a limitation in how we do things. But for most intents and purposes, you should be able to just generate stuff from the header and be happy with that. So this is the QML enumerators from command. It takes the fully qualified name of the enum that you want to generate stuff from. And as you saw, that ended up as enum values for your QML type. That's pretty cool. And if we quickly modify the header for this thing, and build again, and go back into Safari and take a look at the C++ type. Now it generates value type, so it desugars the type for this thing, because I haven't specified with an fn command use auto for this. And of note, you can only use auto, so you can't say use I just invented some type that is likely to have a typo in it and not compile. That doesn't work. Auto works because that is actually compilable and valid C++. Yeah, and that's what I have. I have a couple of honorable mentions. QDoc since Qt 6.8 requires Clang 17. It also works with 18 and 19, so any released version of LVM since 17. As far as we know, it still works with LVM 20. We have a new member on the team, David Body. He's here, so welcome him. He joined on the 1st of November. And if you would like to chat about this and you don't want to use Teams, you can now look us up in the QDoc channel on Libera Chat. That's it for me.